Shus chavrei v'yedida. Tired Eden coming.
Where you going, Yechiel?
Coming to learn the Heilige Torah. This is called early in the morning. V'et hakollel. The Chus HaTorah should be a shmira for all Eden. Shus, I don't know where my Shus, Rabbi Birnbaum Shlita. This is Rabbi Birnbaum's Chesed of the week. He comes to do a little Chesed. And B'Shus Kol Chaveira. We're going to learn B'Siyata D'Shmaya. One of the Yisoidis of the Baal Shem Tov is the Dr. Baal Shem Tov. Zeh Sefer Toldos HaAdam. The Baal Shem Tov says that Chumash is Sefer Toldos HaAdam. It's about teaching a person that the Eibishter gave us the Torah for mention, as mentions over besser mention. Ma'isa of a similar bonum. So we have a whole Sefer Bereshis is Ma'isa of a similar bonum. It's also similar bonum. So we're going to learn B'Siyata D'Shmaya, a Mahalach in the Parsha. Again, it's not learning, it's learning the Parsha in the Oifen of Zeh Sefer Toldos HaAdam. So Richard Maggid starts off this week's Parsha, and he says, the Torah starts off with a story. This is the way he asks the question, but it's the idea. Yes, the Torah starts off. Yetzi Yaakov Be'ersheva. Oh, B'Shus, this great tzaddik that's here, Rabbi. Oh, Rabbi Gedalia Engel, great to see you. Tremendous chizuk. So first, it's effective Zitcha Magid. The Torah starts off by Yetzi Yaakov Be'ersheva. The Torah was kodma la'olam. The Torah was kodem to this story. Zoktim Zitcha Magid by Yetzi Yaakov Be'ersheva is each one of us. Every Yid, this is our story. So we're going to learn from B'Siyata D'Shmaya for a few minutes till Sheni how the Torah is talking. I get a chizik from it. The Torah is giving us a chizik. Zok the pasuk Vayetze Yaakov Be'ersheva Vayelech Haran. The Torah is teaching us each one of us is on the way. Each one of us is halicha. A person is called a mahalach, a mensch gate. Mesilas Yesharim starts off his sefer that each one of us is going on a mahalach. And the Eibishter puts us in a maze. So each one of us has a life story. It's a pella, how the Eibishter created Adam. Each one of us, a person goes into Shabbos, and I think of this Kamat every week when I ask the Eibishter for Siyata D'Shmaya to speak Friday night. You get up to speak with Siyata D'Shmaya in a shul Friday night, and you have a group of Yidden. You meet from one week to the next week. You could never know from one week to the next what this Yid went through this week, what that Yid went through this week. The Eibishter bring, every person has his own maze of life, his own nisyonis hachayim, ha'oini mitzad echad, ha'oishim mitzad achad. And a person is going through his maze of life on the way of mensch veistach, ha'olam hazeh is doimel leproizda, on the way to olam haba. Zok the pasuk vayetzi Yaakov Be'ersheva v'yelech Haran. Zok the Chizuk Shiur. Yaakov Avinu is now going into Golus. He's going into Hester Ponim. The Chizuk Shiur brings, he's going into the Hester Ponim of the ganze Golus. So all the thousands of years of Golus, alle choshech was Yaakov Avinu is leaving the Gresta Yeshiva, the Yeshiva from Shem Ve'ev. The Gresta Yeshiva, Atlantic Torah, 14 years. He's learning, great to see you, Rabbi Yitzi. He's learning Torah for 14 years. As it's the mamish, the Torah's Hashem. Zok the Chizuk Shiur, now he's going into the Gresta Golus. He's going into the Golus, side the Golus, the collective Golus of Klal Yisrael, and side the Golus of every Yid's personal Golus. By Yifka, by Mokum, by Yolan Shom, Shteik Nechazal, who's Mesakim Tfilas Arvis. Tfilas Arvis is the Tfilah, was a Yidiv's in the Spal in the Zman of Choshech. By Yifka, he doesn't even prepare, it's a mitten the Choshech. Mitten the Choshech, Yaakov Avinu Mesakim Tfilas Arvis. By Yolan Shom Kivo HaShemesh, Evet Fashlofen, part of the Golus. And part of the Nisyonis HaChaim, a person vet fashlofen. A month ago, 6 weeks ago, a person was in Yom Naroim. It was his man of or, his man of coming closer to Hashem. And every Yid had Kabbalah, every Yid had a machshava, to ver na best mensch. Aber es geht Wochen, weeks go by, right now, a little before Chanukah. By Yolan Shom Kivo HaShemesh. A man vet fashlofen. By Yosef Yikach Ma'am. This is what we need every morning. By Yosef Marashoisa. And he Yishka by Mokamahu. Zok the Chizuk Shiur, as he has worries, he has daigas, he has fears. The fears of Klal Yisrael and Golus. Vayachlo and v'hinei sulam mutzav arz. Zok the Baal Shem Tov, b'chol yoim bas kol yoitzis ma'ar chorev, v'oim ha'olam lebriyas melboine shel Torah. Zokta Baal Shem Tov, what's the purpose of this baskel? What's the purpose there should be a baskel if nobody hears the baskel? Zokta Baal Shem Tov, believe kol echad ve'echad. The person hears this baskel. The Eibishter is sending each one of us. Every Yid has messages. The Eibishter is sending a person through his life. Today, Klal Yisrael Zoichet, a tremendous amount of mashpiyim. And there's a mashpiyim that give a person a soyrus. And every person in his life, every once in a while, something happens in his life, and the person has an osiris. Zokta vayachloim, and all of a sudden, in the middle of the deep sleep of Golus, v'hinei sulam mutzav ha'aretz v'roshim hagiya shamayim. Dr. Shashal Hirsch, how does he see the ladder? He doesn't see a ladder going from up to down. He sees sulam mutzav ha'aretz v'roshim hagiya shamayim. All of a sudden, in his osiris, he has a different outlook on life. And the same life of choshech, all of a sudden he sees this life of choshech is a way to bring me to come closer to the Eibishter. Many people, Amol, you meet a person that went through life, an older person, and the person looks back at his life, and he says, through my life, the Eibishter was leading me. The Eibishter is leading a person. V'hinei malachi elokim oilim b'yordim boy. The ganze, all the malachim l'mayla. When a person tells himself, if only I would have malachim, if only I would be flying in heaven. Zok the pasuk, v'hinei malachim oilim b'yordim boy. The malachim are with a person. V'hinei Hashem nitzav Allah v'shteit l'chazal shchinta b'galusa. The Eibishter is with a person in his choshech. And all of a sudden, Yankov Avinu in this choshech has a soyrus. As in their choshech, in each one of us, the Eibishter gives us our own maze of life, our own choshech. And the Eibishter says, in this choshech, this is the place you can find the Eibishter. So the pasuk, the Eibishter tells him there's going to be a golus. In this golus, in the golus, you're going to go all around the world. And the avodah of every Yid is to be Megala, the Eibishter in the golus. So the pasuk, Yaakov Avinu wakes up and he says, Oi, I was living my life, I went into this grace of golus and I fell asleep. Like Schwarzman said, the Baron came to America with Kecholim. Said, how many doiris do they say? There'll be Torah in America, there'll be Torah at Zayin Azazach. And now comes the pasuk, Dr. Yankov Avinu Vayida Yaakov Nedalema. Yaakov was scared. I just had a tremendous osiris. I felt in my golus, I felt in all the choshech. I saw the Eibishter, but Yaakov's Avinu's scared. I'm going to lose that osiris. I saw this week a story in the Chavetz Chaim. There was a bocha on Purim that got shikr. The bocha got shikr, and I emes the shikris, and it gezogt for the Chavetz Chaim. I told the Chavetz Chaim, Rebbe, I want to sit next to you in Gan Eden. And the Chavetz Chaim, again, mamish 1 hour, another hour, gemuch at the Chavetz Chaim. Chavetz Chaim was on the way to go to the Suda, and he stands in front of the Chavetz Chaim. Rebbe, geist sharois busy zok me too. I'm going to sit next to you in Gan Eden. Chavetz Chaim turns to him and he tells him, Rebbe, my life, my avoiders, from the avoiders Chavetz Chaim ben shmiras hadibur. If you makabel on yourself not to say lashon hara, it's kind of sitzen leben me in Shemayim. You can sit next to me in Shemayim. The Yid woke up from his shikras. The Yid says, "Ach kenisht." Chavetz Chaim tries to talk to him. Be makabel, you'll see if you do it, it's going to be matzliach. The Yid says, "Ach kenisht." No chamol. Chavetz Chaim tried. You'll see, you'll be makabel at gain. Zok the Yid, "Ach kenisht." Chavetz Chaim said, "No, never mavek. No, this is go gross to mention. That's it. Never mavek." They told the Mashkiach and Baranovich of Shal Yankov. They told the next day. So Yankov said that Yid was sitting by the door of Shemayim. Yeah, and if he would have been makabel with the Gatsiyat Shmai, the Chavetz Chaim would get betten for him. He didn't take the opportunity. How many of us, the Eibishter gives us moments of osiris, and avoid of a Yid to keep that osiris. I met a Yid last week. I met a Yid, a very successful Yid. And the Yid tells me that Baruch Hashem, successful in the Olam Hazeh, a wealthy person, a Shalom Bayis is good, also good. Remember, I'm going to say, what's successful? The Yid tells me, in Ruchnius, I have no kesher to Ruchnius. Gonish, Laida. I'm a religious Jew on the outside. He says, Chomnishkin kesher. I told the Yid, I was sitting with the Yid for a while. But was a successful guy. That's what I was waiting to hear. Dr. Yid. So I told the Yid, do me a favor. Come one morning to Lotsk. Tomorrow morning, come to Lotsk. One morning you should come. Ich kennisht. Another half hour in the conversation. Ich kennisht. Another half hour. Ich kennisht. This is the greatest.
People who enjoy willowing in the pain.
Oh, he says this is b'chal nishvel besser. But how many of us? How many of us have moments of Osiris. Zok Yankov Avinu, after the greatest Cholam was the state in Rishonim, this was the moment that he came to the highest level. Yankov Avinu was scared. Vayida Yaakov Neder Lema. Yaakov Avinu says, he makes a neder, he shouldn't lose that Osiris. We're going this Shabbos into a new Shabbos. The Eibishter give us, Dr. Rambanim, Te'irum, Toirus, Ha'abat, Shetech. We're going into this Shabbos, Osman, the Maral's brother writes, I don't know when to end. We're going into a Shabbos of Osiris. The Eibishter, the Maral's brother writes that Friday night, he writes in the Sefer, I don't have to write about Amunah, B'tochen, B'Hashem, and Raya, Sedor, and Eibishter the Welt, because Friday night, as a Yid is Zoiche, a Yid could feel Ruchnis. So as man, we can spüren Ruchnis. Friday night is a matana from the Eibishter. And the Eibishter is going to give us tonight, it's a pella. I'm going to speak tonight in Shul. The same Yidden that fall asleep 8 o'clock are going to fall asleep tonight at 6 o'clock. The Eibishter gives us a tremendous matana toiv. It's not an easy matana. My father was Zoiche to be close to Rabban Kreisen. The Rebbe is a chavrei of Rocha. He learned with a group of Balabatim. They used to go to sleep after the meal. They used to go to sleep. They used to come learn 11:30 till 2:30 in the morning. They used to go. Friday night. They used to go to sleep after the Suda. They used to come 11:30 at night. They used to come back. They used to sleep after the Suda 2-3 hours. 2-3 hours. And they used to come. These times they'd be 10 o'clock. We're going to schlafen Tzvei Shah, and they came to learn. The Eibishter gives us manim. It's interesting how Hasidim. I went to Tzvimaya for many, many years. Many things that Hasidim say, many things were very practical things. Tzvimaya always speaks about the Eish in the Yiddish house there of Shabbos, the Eish Kasses, the Eish Gehenim, and you have to be careful from this Eish. It's very practical. It's a time people are very nervous. A person has to be careful. Another thing with Tzvimaya, always one of the things of Hasidim, they melabish and groise Sachen, is the Yid has to go to sleep on Erev Shabbos. If you go to Skver, every Yid takes a nap on Erev Shabbos, and they talk about the godless of taking a nap on Erev Shabbos. That's how the Neshama Yisera comes. It's a very practical thing. If a Yid sleeps a few minutes on Erev Shabbos, I'm saying they will lavish it in these verses. They meant the practical thing. If you sleep on Erev Shabbos for a few minutes, it's kind of land and fratik senach. The Eibishter should bench us. The Eibishter gives us a matona of Shabbos Kodesh, and it's very easy. Doesn't take much effort for Tati to fall asleep at a meal. And for Tati, I wish they would make a yated, a new yated, maybe tell Rabbi Lipschitz, at least the yated, or some of these newspapers that should come, at least they should look like a sefer. At least the kids will think Tati's falling asleep on a sefer. Doesn't take much effort for a person Friday night to fall asleep and sleep against the nacht. Then he comes to shul late Shabbos morning, have a nice kiddush, take a nap, and come to Shabbos and say, oh, this Shabbos was shreklach. Or Hashulchan writes that every Yid has a test Motzei Shabbos. If a Yid feels depressed Motzei Shabbos, it means he didn't use the Shabbos properly. A Yid has a test. A Yid that uses Shabbos properly and realizes Shabbos is a matana toiva. A person has to work on it. How am I going to use the Soiris of Leil Shabbos? So the Eibishter's benching, we should be zoiche to use the Soiris of Shabbos Kodesh. There's a zoiche zayins, a Shabbos from Aliyah, a Shabbos from Simcha. The Eibishter sends each one of us moments where we feel Ashreinu Matoil Chalkeinu. We should be zoiche to keep those moments. We're coming to the Yom Tov of Chanukah. The Yom Tov of Chanukah, Ma'at Or, one little light in the middle of a tremendous doicha harbe min achoyshech. So mazoicha zayin shal Shabbos from Aliyah, a Shabbos from Simcha, a Shabbos from V'tayel Libeinu L'Avdech Havemis.